a second stream because I wanted to play more Citizen Sleeper. I corrected the timeline, so no longer. So this is the one that was being played last stream, and I made this one because fuck you, I don't want to die. Supplies are still empty, so we're not doing awesome here, but you know we're really close. I can't make another push today, so we're gonna take a stress. All gonna take a stress. And tomorrow, hopefully, we'll be able to do it. Throw in a six. Not awesome. Okay. I have an idea. Thank Jog. How do these keep getting negative? How it doesn't make sense. Your Honor, it doesn't make sense. There's a crisis active. We have to do this or else it's fucked. What do you mean? There is no way you can lose this many 50-50s in a row! Okay, it's fine. Kirk rushes into the bay you are crossing. It's all kicking off, Sleeper, a growing fear in his eyes. Lambert's lost control. He guides you through the headstream, a ship you have become surprisingly familiar with over the past few cycles. Perhaps it is the influence of getting to know the crew and their complaints around Lambert and the Syndicate, but its twisting corridors, thick pipes, and cold metal have taken out on an oppressive feel, cycle by cycle, hour by hour. Now, as the shouts of conflict echo down the corridor ahead, where a room glows with the warm light of the galley, you feel an oppressive pall tightening its grip. It's too early. You know it is. The sickening feeling growing inside you tells you that you haven't got enough support to pull this off. Back away, Lambert's shout echoes like a shot as you enter the crowded galley. A gang of crew members, maybe a third of the total number, is loudly arguing. You've all allowed yourself to be swayed by those eager to use you for their own ends, Lambert is shouting across the galley. I'm sorry to have to do this to my own crew, but there must be consequences. You see him glance over his shoulder and tracing his view, you see security officers tensely gathered in the back of the room. You see Kirk, his panicked expression, something tells you you aren't used to seeing, tells you he notices them too. Then with a nod from Lambert, security moves into the crowd. Dude, how do you keep— No! There cannot be that many failures. That's not how that— No! Boo up, this is ridiculous. This is getting absurd. Alright. Welcome to trying to save scum a game that isn't meant to be save scummed. Okay, wait, let me... You know what? Your Honor? What I'm gonna be diabolical. Are you ready to watch me save scum this? I won't have it. Do you hear me? I won't have it. Citizen Boo Womp. That's true. You're right, Sky. Citizen Boo Womp. Citizen Boo Womp is spitting facts. But I won't be I won't be made a fool of in this manner. I simply will not. It's simply... They think I don't have it in me to care this much. I do care this much, Your Honor. I care this much. Sky, you look at me. You look at me, Sky. It's not over until I say it's over. It's not over until I say it's over. I don't care. You can look at me and you can say, Lofus, this is insane. You're losing your mind. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. There. Yeah! Kirk rushes into the bay you were crossing. It's all kicking off Sleeper, a wild glee in his eyes. Lofus, this is insane. I don't care, Sky. I don't care. Thank you for indulging me. A wild glee in his eyes. Lambert's lost control. He guides you through the Headstream, a ship you have become surprisingly familiar with over the past few cycles. Perhaps it's the influence of getting to know the crew and their complaints around Lambert. There's something I refuse. Lambert specifically, it would upset me so greatly if he won. And their complaints around Lambert and the Syndicate. But its twisting corridors, thick pipes, and cold metal have taken on an oppressive feel, cycle by cycle, hour by hour. Now, as the shouts of conflict echo down the corridor ahead, where a room glows with the warm light of the galley, you feel that oppressive paw being scraped away, replaced with some new and exciting quality. Enough, Lambert's shout echoes like a shot as you enter the crowded galley. From what you can tell, more than half the crew have crowded into the space and are clumped around, some perched on the side units. I order you to return to your stations. Lambert floats slightly above the crowd, his hands held up in a gesture of futile calming or nervous surrender. You see him glance over his shoulder, tracing his view. You see security officers. Security officers tensely gathered at the back of the room. Warren Kirk. You turn to Kirk, ready to indicate the mass security, but you are met with a wide smile that makes you pause. Just wait, Kirk winks, and you turn to see security moving through the crowd. If you will not retreat willingly, I will have no other choice but to use force. Lambert's voice breaks with anger. Disperse! He watches the guards form up behind Lambert, and then one moves forward and grabs him, forcing his arms behind his back. The act is met with a rakish cheer from the assembled crew, and a yelp from Lambert himself. He is forced through the crowd, who part and cheer, heading directly for the corridor from which you entered. When Lambert is close, Kirk nods to the security officer holding him, and they stop. Lambert looks up in confusion and stares directly into Kirk's grin. You are officially removed from duty as captain of the Headstream, on the authority of the Wellspring Workers Alliance. Kirk's tone is direct and clear. This is done with the authority of a majority ballot of your crew. Workers Alliance, you have no authority. You're pirates! Lambert spits at Kirk. There will be consequences. On that, we agree. Kirk nods to the security officers, and they wrench a struggling Lambert from the room. Kirk watches Lambert go, determination set in his heavy brow. What'll happen to him? Lambert can enjoy the hospitality of his own brig. Kirk pats you on the back. We have a celebration to muster. The galley erupts in liberated joy, and soon drinks and food are passed around from a stash Lambert had been asking the quartermaster to keep back for his own use. You settle on a counter and look on as the crew celebrates. You watch as Kirk moves effortlessly through the room, giving and receiving thanks in equal measure. Despite his intimidating appearance, you see something softer coming to the surface, something reserved for those he has struggled alongside. Fresh allies are old friends to him. After the celebrations have died down, and the crew have retreated to make plans for supporting the blockade, holding out on what they have, Kirk approaches you. Not toasting to victory, he offers you a transparent bag of ship-brewed moonshine. The crew of the Headstream. Kirk smiles. To our comrades. I think it's time we return to Wellspring. He looks off towards the last crew members leaving the room. We've done our job. Say the word. I'm just the pretend captain, Kirk smiles. That ship out there is yours to command, and everyone knows it. You suddenly notice how exhausted Kirk looks, his eyes dark and hooded. He looks down at towards the scuffed floor. You did well here. He smiles weakly. We certainly stirred something up, he pauses. I don't want to overthink it. Lambert is right. Retaliation will come. He looks around the room. I hope they'll be ready when it does. He sighs a heavy sigh. Kirk takes a deep breath and lets it out slow. The struggle goes on. He pushes off from the counter and heads towards the docking bridge. You take a moment before you follow, your mind drifting towards the crew and the struggle they have ahead. As you do, a small and perhaps unfair part of you thinks, well, that's life in the belt. Means of production. Inspire a peaceful mutiny on the headstream. That's what we wanted. And I would save Scum to get it. The cut thrums with tension. The streaming city and its brash inhabitants have quieted. Quieted. Not to silence, but to a low rumble of conversation. The blockade is holding, the syndicate is waning, and everywhere there are plans to be made. You and Seraphim float idly in Chasm Row, many stories deep in this wound in Wellspring's side, waiting on Kirk, not far from the first place you met. From the first place you met, yeah, I did say that right. A meeting Seraphim still has lingering blue bruises from. Kirk is inside somewhere, and like every other Letic contractor, he's making plans. Even before you arrived back in Wellspring, he had hijacked the rig's transmitter to speak with his fellow conspirators and make arrangements for his arrival. Watching Kirk's plot unfold made you realize that, despite your involvement, in the end you were just a subsidiary part of the struggle, a chaotic outside actor, with effect but no real influence. Now, waiting for Kirk's return, you feel a little solace in that. You aren't ready to be dragged into another struggle. Not yet. You still have your freedom to win. And looking at Seraphim next to you, you know that he does too. Alright, we're on. Kirk comes out of a passage nearby, nodding to the two of you to follow. He leads you both into the Rye Market passageways, this time not to the steaming market halls that lie beneath the deepest streets, but to a cramped room, walled with pipes and rusted panels. Just a little longer, he nods to you both. Hold here. He exchanges a serious look with you before pushing off and gliding back out of the room. You watch Kirk go, the relationship having settled into a quiet and mutual respect. His eyes are on bigger things now. Workers' councils and contract negotiations, and you know that. Perhaps one cycle ahead, you'll find a moment to drink together again, and discuss everything that has happened. For now, Kirk has other things on his mind. Seraphim settles again. You shoot him a look, but his focus is elsewhere. His eyes glaze over. You fold your arms and wait. Sarah? Tala enters so quietly in the dim room, you barely notice her. She shoots you a look and a smile as she enters. Thank you, she mouths silently, and then turns her attention to her brother. Tala. Seraphim says her name like a sigh, like an exhale. He's shaking his head, his eyes already shining with uncontrollable emotion. She rustles across the room, flying into Seraphim at speed. They embrace, softly spinning in the dust and dark, their fingers dug into each other's backs. They separate, a couple of pristine spheres of briny tears spinning away through the air as they do. You're safe, Seraphim nods, taking a breath. I'm safe, she smiles reassuringly, settling him. And in this unsettling, this gesture of care, you see a whole network of signs and secrets. Tala is the calm to Seraphim's storm, the big sister who eases his heart. She looks him up and down. You're so big, Sarah. She laughs at her own statement. You've grown up. She tries to make it sound approving rather than patronizing. You're just the same, sister, Seraphim shakes his head, calling me big but making me feel small. The moment the statement leaves his lips, you feel a chill in the room, and you aren't sure if he meant it. Tala flinches a little, hurt but not wanting to show it. I came to find you, Tala tries again. I needed to find you. Seraphim looks torn, and you see in him something you have come to recognize, the slow and careful raising of his defenses. Why now? He looks away. It's been a long time, Tala. Mom and Dad finally decide they want me to come home. A ripple of emotion runs through Tala one can't hide. Sarah, after you left, they're gone, she sighs. I thought you would have. She struggles to find the words. It's been a long time. It has. Seraphim set his face into a stern look of control, but you know he is raging inside, and in this moment you feel closer to him. You feel closer to him than you have felt in a while. Tala folds her arms, trying to regain a little control of the exchange. It's good to see you, Sarah. So good. You know what is coming, and you see Seraphin brace for it too. But I can't leave with you. She looks pained. This isn't easy for her. Seraphin can only nod, a dulling acceptance watching over him. I wanted to find you, and I have. I can see you're strong and well, and she shoots you a glance, and have your life here. But the people here, the other contractors, they were the ones who found me, who have kept me going since I ended up here, desperate and alone. She smiles warmly. It's not that I owe them, it's that they are my family too. She gently places a hand on his shoulder. I know you understand this, she smiles at me. We all find our families out there. Seraphin smiles a rare smile, his eyes wet. We do, sister. He embraces her again. They separate, and Tala turns her attention to you. I know you'll take care of my brother, Sleeper, she smiles. I saw it in your eyes when you came into the pit head. She approaches and puts a hand on your shoulder. I can see you were building something of value on that ship of sorts. I hope so. She nods and takes her hand away. She folds her arms again, her sense of control returning. There is wisdom and experience to Tala that brings a certain calm to you, and you feel that now. Will you two be staying here for a while, or? Tala looks between you and Seraphin. Seraphin cuts in before you can answer. Not long, he smiles. We have our own freedom to find. Tala nods. Just be aware, you're free to pass the blockade, but after that, she sighs. Wellspring is going to be locked down for a little while, at least until Kirk can establish his council. Next time you come, she smiles proudly, this will be a very different place. Hearing Tala say this, you suddenly see the authority in her, and you realize that one of those council seats may well have her name on it. You look between the two of them, and realize they have years to catch up on, and they'd probably rather do it without you watching. You nod to them and slip out of the room, a lifting conversation starting up the moment you leave, and you follow the twisting corridors back up to Chasm Row. You smile to yourself at the thought of Tala and Seraphin, reunited at last. You hope this whole adventure will make Seraphin a little less moody, even though you know deep down it'll probably make him worse. Major drive complete, plus 2 upgrade points. On your way into the rig, you pass a tired-looking Eugen. We adding out, he sighs, because I'm not sure I've got another chip left to wager. How much did you lose? He squints at his fingers for a second, making calculations. Too much, he shrugs. Gonna strap myself in for a nap. He disappears into the berths. Later in the cycle, Seraphin quietly comes back into the rig. He immediately settles himself in the cockpit and starts running diagnostics on the engines. He looks up as you enter and shoots you a smile. Good to see you, Sleeper. I'm getting ready to head out. Ready to go? Just say the word. He flicks a sequence of switches. Sleeper, Seraphin turns to face you. Thank you. He smiles. I appreciate you bringing us all the way out here. I won't forget it. Will Tala be okay? She's found a place here, and I'm really happy for her. He looks away out of the cockpit windows at Wellspring. She always was the responsible one, and I always was the one running away. I guess some things never change. Seraphin quietly watches the diagnostics complete, a subtle smile on his lips. One thing's for sure. We've been here too long, Seraphin meets your eye, and we've been seen by too many people. Wellspring may be far out of Utsubo territory, but I'm sure Lane will find a way to reach his nasty claws out here, giving enough time. Let's not give him the chance. Hey guys, Bliss's voice echoes into the passage into the cockpit. They lean into the door looking between the two of you. 2 contractors just dumped a load of fuel outside of our ship. Said it was a gift. You and Seraphin look at each other. Gotta be Kirk, Seraphin sets up. It's either a thank you or his way of telling us to get going. Seraphin kicks off and glides out of the cockpit. Hey, so, Bliss smiles. While you two have been busy, so have I. Been looking at the rig's drive, and I reckon it's due an upgrade. We'll need engine components, quite a few, so keep an eye out, Bliss shrugs. Shipyards tend to be a good place to look. Shipyards. Got it. Right, Bliss sighs. Better go help Seraphin with that fuel. As Bliss leaves the cockpit, you find yourself lost in thought, considering what next step, while the icy expanse of Wellspring glitters below. Plenty of fuel. Your fuel will leave Wellspring. You have a Haziat unit installed. You can freely travel through to Breezefield on the belt map. That's true. And there's nowhere past Wellspring. So it's fine that Wellspring might be cut off. Yeah, okay. So we... -2 stress if crew full? If full? If full what? And and less full. Like, I don't know what that means. Quite honestly. The push affecting both crew dice would be awesome. But a +4 would also be... I don't know. Let's do that. -2 crew stress if full. I seriously don't know what that means. If full. Like, if we have a full crew, it'll subtract crew stress? If so, awesome. We need to fill it. We do need to fill our supplies. It would seem there's nowhere for us to really work the... Oh, nope, we can work depot shifts. Alright. Bye, Emil. Let's be so for real. That's a load of bullshit right there. If I ever seen it. Chasm Row. Fill supplies. God, expensive. Go back to Holmes Rock. Go to the Flotsam. Can't make it to there. Can make it back to the Far Spindle. Let's shoot back to Holmes Rock first. Might be able to pick up a contract or something? The rig glides safely through a debris cloud, the cockpit empty apart from you and Seraphim. So, Slooper, I've been thinking. Seraphim gives you a sly look over his shoulder. I've been thinking I'm sick of running. Me too. I mean, even if we want to keep going the way we have been, we've run out of belt. Beyond Wellspring, it's mostly rocks and emaciated scavengers. And well, I'm a city boy at heart. But not only that, Seraphim meets your eye. We've been building something here, Sleeper. The crew, the ship, he smiles. Hell, we just got this HasNav suite for free. He thumps the U unit on the top of his flight console. What I'm asking is, how do you feel about taking Lane on? You want to go to war with Itsubo. Not war, he smiles. Something else. You've seen what's happening in Wellspring, what Tal is doing. He shakes his head. Kirk is a fool, but he's onto something. Get on the inside. Organize, undermine. That I can get on board with. I like the sound of that. I bet you do, Seraphim smiles. He's enjoying this. Just think about it, Sleeper. We find a way back on the dark side. Quietly. We make some connections. We start something running. He turns back to his console. It'd be one hell of a thing. Itsubo are ruthless. The way they run Darkslide, there's got to be plenty of people fed up with them. Seraphim shrugs. And they've gotten worse under Lane. Worse since they pushed the other gangs out. You smile and shake your head at how fast Seraphim can bounce back when he wants to. And as you do, you can't help but consider his plan. Look, maybe it's crazy, but we need a safe harbor either way. I've got a connection in the scatter yards. He'll tuck us away, keep us quiet from everyone. You see Seraphim has his coin in his hands, is turning it over between his fingers as he speaks. If we want, maybe he can help us get into Darkside. But even if we don't, it's a good place to rest and make a plan. He turns back to the controls to deal with a rapid beep from the new HasNav unit. The scatter yards, you've heard of them. They have a reputation as a fiercely independent set of shipyards just starward of Darkside, a hiding place right under Lane's nose. However, Seraphim looks at you with concern. Before we try anything drastic, we need to get that body of yours looked at. Stop stalling. Get a diagnostic run on your frame. His expression softens. We're here to back you up. Seraphim turns his focus back to piloting the ship, and you watch as the debris flit past the ship. You turn your focus to what's ahead. I saw it. Seraphim comes charging into the bunk. I actually saw it. He's wild-eyed and his breath ragged. Saw what? Seraphim takes a moment to catch his breath, suddenly aware of how frantic he sounds. He squints at you. Have you noticed how supplies have been going missing every so often when we travel? I have! You suddenly recall the mysterious mess that was left behind in supply storage. Seraphim sees the flicker of recognition in your eyes. So after it happened a couple of times, I decided to keep an eye on our supply store, sir. Hey! We got a stowaway. I decided to keep an eye on our supply store. Seraphim lowers his voice. You know, check it from time to time. And just this cycle, I drifted down there real quiet. He leans in, and whoosh, something flew past me. He shakes his head, knocked me right into the wall. Did you get a look at it? Seraphin sighs. It didn't hang around, but it was definitely some kind of creature. Is there really a creature loose on the ship? You look around the berth, suddenly aware that something could be hiding nearby, tucked in the vents perhaps? We know this thing's like supplies, right? Seraphin is also glancing around for hiding places. So we lock them down tighter, keep it out, that way it'll get desperate. And then, Seraphin raises his finger, it'll make a mistake. What are you talking about? Bliss leans in from the corridor. I can hear you all the way in the workshop. I hear a creature. Seraphin saw the supply thief. Bliss looks between the two of you with a raised eyebrow. From the way you're talking, I'm assuming it's not human? It's something small and dark. Something fast. Seraphin looks at Bliss. It's a fucking cat. We're going to lock up the supplies to drive it out. Bliss looks at Seraphin. It's an animal. We don't want to make it any more scared and desperate than it already is. How about we lock up the supplies, but leave some out in a special place and try to bait it? And then grab it. Seraphin bites the egg. No! Bliss looks between the two of you. We show it there's nothing to fear. We tame it. Didn't seem very tameable, Seraphin rubs his sore ribs. Plus, we've already wasted enough supplies on this thing. You want to give it more? Seraphin turns to look to you. What do you think, Sleeper? You look between the two of them, still processing the strange situation you find yourself in. Let's try to tame it. Seraphin sighs. What a waste. Hey, man, you say that about every stray I bring onto this crew, and Eugen and Bliss are pretty cool. Alright, Bliss nods. You'll have to come down to the supply store every few cycles and put out some more food. That way it won't get desperate and do anything dangerous. And I'll lock the supplies up tight, Seraphin folds his arms. Won't be getting them in anymore. The plan is set. Bliss and Seraphin leave the berth, heading into separate sections. You watch them go. It seems your ship has a stowaway. The question is, how will you deal with it? Same way we dealt with the stowaway before. Rig supply store. Tame stowaway. Engine. Need 8 parts and I only have 5. We're getting there though. Fill up on fuel. Help offload some freight. What does this fixing broken arrays do, eh? It gives me more energy, baby. That's just what I was hoping it would do. We need Solheim data for this. Buy some supplies. Again, certainly not cheap. Harley is being such a menace. We'll save that, because we gotta rest. Don't want to be stressed. Stress is real bad. Alright, we've got supplies, we've got fuel. What are these dark spots? Oh, the blockade. Let's go check out the Helion gate. Sleeper, you got a moment? Eugen finds you in your berth. I have news about the Aphelion. Eugen has a seriousness you rarely see etched into the hard lines on his face. You remember the ship he was talking about, the Aphelion Path. The last surviving interstellar fraction ship in the Helion system, if his stories are to be believed. I've been putting out some feelers for the little lost ship, and something came back. He glances around as the information might leak into some unwanted source. I've been working with a contact of mine, a signal chaser working out of the Hollow. He's got some promising data. He followed the trails from the hidden wreck we found, calculated the possible vectors. As if this thing is still in the Helion system, it's in the shoals. He folds his arm across his broad chest, watching your reaction. You trust the signal chase? He sucks in a berth. As much as I trust anyone. I haven't told him what exactly we were tracking, just gave him the signature. There's a chance he hasn't figured it out, but the problem is the signal chaser's gone quiet. Nothing for a few cycles now, Eugen shakes his head. Maybe he got wise to the value of what he found, but I doubt it. Maybe he just took a holiday. Eugen grins at his own joke. I reckon we pay the visit to the Hollow, turn up my ghosted contact, see how viable the data looks, It looks good, we go out and get the ship. It doesn't, he shrugs, no harm, no foul. What about Vesna? What about her? Eugen shrugs. Maybe she's involved. I doubt it, but he holds up a finger. She comes sniffing around after the fact when a whiff of the data gets out. He sighs. That's what she does. It's all I've got, Eugen winks. Keep it between us, alright? Let the others know when we hit the hollow. But remember, what's at stake here, Sleeper? An interstellar ship, a ticker out of Helion. He pats you on the shoulder. It'll be worth it. With that, Eugen drifts out of the bunks, whistling. Helion Gate hangs over the rig. Its corroded arches resemble the dislocated vertebrae of some vast, long-dead serpent. That's one big ugly scrap pile, Seraphim whistles from the pilot seat. Solheim didn't like to build them small. A monument to hubris. Seraphim shoots you a sideway glance. Feeling poetic, Sleeper? Gotta be big if you want to fit every ship that visits the system through it. Bliss cuts in from the back of the cockpit. Impressive, really, building something so massive out here. Solheim like to impress visitors, sure. Seraphim leads forward, looking for the best place to enter the structure. They also like to scan entire ships and impound those that didn't enter through the gate. Seraphim catches your eye, looking for some agreement. Not the most admirable qualities. Solheim was a curse on this system. Seraphim nods. Better off without him, that's for sure. I agree, but without him, the system would be just two gas giants and a load of rocks. No harm in recognizing it. You look out of the cockpit toward the gate, its layers of systems and rooms slowly opening to the void, peeling away cycle after cycle to reveal the bones beneath. This is where Jean-Mi mentioned you might be able to find the location of a ship with a prime ship mind. Among the old shipping manifests and Solheim records, you look over the towering structure of the gate. This is going to take some work. Suddenly a flash up high up on the gate catches your eye, a light turning on and off again for a moment. You lose track of it. Is this place inhabited? Seraphim raises an eyebrow. I doubt it, he winks and smiles. You open for a station-side bar? I know Eugen is. I have a feeling you'll be disappointed. Unless we find an executive's old liquor cabinet. Bliss pats you on the shoulder and drifts out of the cockpit. Time to see what secrets the gate has left. Solheim Records. Customs Hall. Scan the hall, explore the corridors. I'm bad at both of those. Fucking awesome. Power up the archive. Alright. We are just gonna rest then. God, this place sucks. Scavenge fuel. Oh, we need to feed the stray. Can we get out? Can we hit? Yeah, we can hit the spindle. So we're good, because we have supplies, so... Source supplies. It's our best option right now. Jesus, dude. Neutral outcome, you still lose energy is crazy. In the dark and airless void of the archive, something flickers. You've been working in the dark, picking through the guts of corroded machines, skimming the data and their corrupt memories, digging through a graveyard in search of ghosts. But now, with another flicker, the place begins to come back to life. Harlequin, can you stop being a menace? Jesus. All along the rows of benches, some of them crushed by falling ceiling panels, terminals begin to flicker in an uneasy life. A cacophony of distorted sounds accompany the machines, as some of them immediately glitch and spark. Did you do this? You stand frozen as the archive glitters around you with a million shipping entries. The stream of information is overwhelming. The node graphs drawing out routes and inventories, tracing a web into you, around you in pale cyan. Suddenly, they all shut off, the terminals blinking together, leaving a single translucent screen glowing softly in the dim room. And in that dim room, drifting towards you out of the dark, you see a figure. Is this what you're looking for? The voice crackles aggressively through your suit's local comms. Stop right there. Oh my god, it's Junie. Sleeper, is that you? You hear Junie's voice now, tense and unsure. She stops behind the single online terminal, her suited form lit in pale light. Junie! You hear the smile in her voice. Good to see you again. She pauses and glances around, though the venue is a little unexpected. I'm looking for a ship mind. She shrugs. Well, yes, I can see that. I've been digging through the archives myself, although slightly less forcefully. I did have this whole speech prepared for whatever salvager was ripping through these archives so messily, not to mention aggressively. Now that I know it was you, well, I'm just glad to see you. Although you really need to be more careful. You have taken the entire archive down the way you would. These machines are decades old. You can't just rifle through them like they were a scrap pile. I saw the pattern of your queries. A prime ship mine equipped ship, still operational at the collapse, last located in the region around Helion Gate. You can feel how pleased she is with herself from here. Not about right? Nicely done. She nods. Would you expect anything else? That's why I did the hard work for you. Junie beckons you over to the lone lit-up terminal. You drift over and see a single point, a faded transit trail beside it, sunward from the Helion Gate. Something like this, maybe? She smiles and steps aside so you can see the screen. Track the info panel behind them, beside the map. Ship mine in use, abandoned by all hands after the collapse. Tantalizingly in reach. Something like that, she shrugs. Well, then it's yours. But, Junie turns and the glow terminal meets your eyes with complete seriousness. The question is, what do you want it for? Explain about your body. You tell her about what Jean Ming told you, about your shifting body transformed by some unknown influence, about the need for a prime ship mind to house your emulated mind while you run the diagnostic process. She's silent for a moment, but unsure how to respond. I'm sorry, Sleeper, but I think I can help you. I want to come with you. Junie gives you a strong look. Do you know how often someone gets out of one of those old Solheim wrecks? They're more trouble than they're worth. Contained inside, there's an entire history to uncover. I need that ship mind. And you're welcome to it, she pauses. I promise to help you get what you need and not get in your way. I know I can't force you or trick you into taking me, so I wanted to offer you this instead. She indicates the terminal, still showing the ship's final resting place. I hope that maybe, if I helped you find what you needed, it would show you I can be trusted. I trust you. She smiles. Thank you for saying so. I'll send the coordinates to your ship, and I'll be hanging around the gate until you're ready to leave. She shifts in front of the terminal and plugs it into her deck, tapping away at rapid speed. If you need to go get some plies from the spindle or anything else, fine. She folds her arms. I'll wait. We definitely will. But if you go on the job without me, I'll get the message, she shrugs. You won't see me again. With that, you leave her in the archive, extracting data, and as you ascend back to the Helion Gate's upper levels. More local crew. Hey, neutral outcome. What did it give me? Derelict fuel barge! Holy shit, we can scavenge fuel and stuff from here. Can we scavenge supplies and stuff? New location discovered. Search for supplies. Harlequin won't stop being a menace, but that's okay. She's, well, it's not okay per se, but, you know, I live with it. Don't want the bugs. We want to end the cycle. I tell you what, though. We need some supplies. Also go and scavenge for some fuel, too. Can hope for a neutral. Come on, neutral, 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 neutral. Hey, 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 hey. Let's go, baby. The gate structure. Data scrapping or cutaway scrap. So we can... Yes! Scrapping! Excellent. This is a great fucking place for me. Holy shit. It's all in door checks. We get fuel, we can get scrap, all for free, just some time. I'm stressed now. Somehow. Okay. We can stay here another day. Coming here whenever we need supplies would be wise, just because of how fucking expensive it is. None stress. Feed the cat. Well, it's not going to be a cat. It's going to be some god-awful space beast, and I'm going to be horrified of it. Watch. One supplies. Two supplies. Three supplies. And let's get some more fuel. Some fuel. 3 fuel. Holy shit. Oh, it's the... Okay. Confirm vector. We'll take Junie. And we'll take Bliss. As much as I like Eugen is really cool. He does kind of just do what I do, but not as good. We're too far sunward, Sleeper. Seraphim turns back in his chair to look at you. I don't like it. It's hard not to agree. The coordinates Junie found have drawn you out of Helia Gate, and sort of almost out of the belt completely, into the soft rubble-strewn transition with the Helian system to the edge of Conway-controlled space. That's why this ship is likely to be untouched, Junie surveys the wreck coldly. It's too far sunward for belt traffic to run into. And now, with Conway drones patrolling the edge of the belt, it's less likely. It's even less attractive as a salvage strike. Lucky us. Junie eyes you, trying to detect if you're being sarcastic or not. I doubt anyone has been here in decades, so actually I would say we are lucky. Need drone signals? Nothing I can say, but I don't dare reach out too far. Seraphim flicks a few switches. We should assume they're out there. As you look out at the twisted wreck, you swear you see a red light, blinking between the stars. You exchange a look with Seraphim. He has seen it too. You better get to it, Sleeper. Seraphim begins unclipping from his seat. Quickly and quietly. From what I understand, Conway drones run on automatic until they detect something of interest, Junie unclips too. So as long as we are quiet, we don't have to contend with an operator. Just automated search sweeps. So if we're detected, we will be killed by a machine, not a person. Bliss shakes their head. I don't find that very reassuring. They get up out of their corner seat and glide towards the back of the ship to get suited up. They drift out of the chair and head towards the airlock, unable to shake the feeling of being watched. Being here is a risk, no matter what. Jesus, being here is a risk, you know that, but you need that ship mine. So no matter what happens, you won't be leaving here empty-handed. Fuck. Oh, we can't rest and recover here at all. Oh, that sucks. Okay. End the cycle. Oh, we also have to account for the cat. Better hope we can fucking get through this shit quick, man. Push. Okay. Junie leads you deep into the wreck, through the crushed and twisted corridors, floating panels and wires appearing suddenly in your headlamps like strange sculptures. Just as you begin to tire of the endless dark and the haze of particles washing over your suit, Junie leads you into a chamber where the ceiling is torn open to reveal the stars. At its center lies a cylindrical object, half your height but raised on a complex pedestal from which Countless thick cables snake off into dark like braided hair. One or two of them float freely, waving back and forth with glinting severed ends, but most of them disappear into the floor and walls, or twist and curve out of sight. Beautiful, isn't it? Junie stares at the prime ship mind, the stars reflected in their faceplate. Not bad. Junie glides over to the pedestal, pushing her way delicately through the wires. As she takes out her terminal and looks for an access port, she talks softly, her voice carried through the suit comms. These cables lead off to every one of the ship systems: engines, life support, navigation, lighting, networking, you name it. Shipmind has hardwired access to them all. When an old ship like this was running well, the shipmind would distribute itself, some of its protocols running freely in different sections. It would be less like a single governing mind and more like a load of systems clumped together to form a complex living machine. Think of a plant rather than a being. A plant with incredibly rapid processing power and a much more accelerated response time than your average tree. You watch as she finds an access port and slips a cable inside, slotting a translucent screen onto the top of her deck. Let's see here. Junie's screen fills with bright scrolling data. Incredible, there's so much here. She hits a few keys. I'll start copying this over. It's everything I need. You watch as Junie starts rapidly tapping her keyboard, her attention sucked into the data she's extracting. Junie? The ship mind? She snaps out of her trance. Sorry, yes, let me check. As I thought, she sighs. So, like I was saying, the protocols inside the ship mind are distributed, so when the ship mind is shut down unexpectedly, the protocols are rarely all contained in this unit. She places a hand gently on the cylinder, and in the case here, parts of it are trapped elsewhere in the ship's system nodes. She taps a few keys, which is a problem. There's always a problem. Luckily, Junie turns back to you smiling, you have me. If we rip this thing out now, with parts of its protocols elsewhere, it's probably going to destroy itself the moment we turn it on. It doesn't matter that we're going to wipe the whole thing anyway, it'll be too late. The mind inside the ship mind will be broken. But if we find the nodes housing the distributed parts, power them up, and then disconnect them, the protocols will be sent right back into the ship mind here. We can take it out clean. How do we find these nodes? We either ask the cradle very nicely, or we spend the next cycles following these cables to see where they lead. I've got an incoming signal, Seraphine's voice suddenly cuts through on the comms, urgent and nervous. If you're lighting up the systems and networks down there, time to stop. You hear a click as Junie disconnects from the cradle, and two of you exchange nervous looks, instinctively backing off the ship mind. Suddenly, a faint red light glitters in the dark beyond the broken ceiling. You hold still. The moment stretches out, and you hear Junie's breathing through the comms. The light flashes, pauses, and then fades. You take a breath, too close. Conway drone, Junie whispers, sniffing the network. We're clear, Seraphine chimes in again. I've turned off almost all of the rig systems, but we need to be careful. Keep network activity to a minimum. Understood, Junie cuts in. Well, we need to access the networks to get the ship mine out quickly. And I hope you're feeling lucky. There's a click as Seraphine closes the line. You and Junie look at each other again, and then at the ship mine encased in its cradle, wrapped in its cables. This isn't going to be easy. No, it is not. Please tell me Bliss can do something. Bliss can't fucking do anything. That's great. That's awesome. That's the worst. It's okay. We can track cables with Endure, and fuck it. If there's anything I can do, it is Endure. Oh, it's fine. Conway's not even alert. We don't have to... Like, we're halfway there. We don't have to push our luck. Really, we don't. No energy loss. We just keep going positive, baby. Let's go! We got the port node and the starboard node. Any engineering need? Yes! That's how we do it. Okay. Push! Port disconnect. Yes! Come on, positive. Dang it. Okay. Conway alert goes up. That's fine. We get this done next cycle. We can get this done this cycle, I bet. No, we cannot. And actually, that was really bad that I just did that. I'm about to break multiple dice. Watch this shit. Okay, just the one. Really not good, though. We'll throw out one of Bliss's 5s. It's ready, Sleeper. Junie's voice comes quietly through your comms. You look over to her, floating beside the cradle, uplit by the pale screen of her deck. She gives you a reassuring nod. You turn to the prime ship mine, now floating above its cradle. The final node's disconnected and the lock's released. You glide over and gently grab it, the worn metal casing gleaming in the dim light. As you do, you feel a strange sensation of something moving inside, like a creature in the box, the weight shifting in this way and that under the pressure of your grip. It suddenly dawns on you that Jean-Mi plans to put you inside this strange device, to hold your mind here, while he investigates your body. The thought prompts a shiver. The drone's still sniffing around, Sleeper. Seraphim voice crackles on the comms. So if you have what you need, let's go. Feel Junie's hand fall on your shoulder. Come on, Sleeper. Don't overthink it. She pats you gently. There'll be plenty of time for that later. You look and see a faint red light glittering in the dark beyond the broken ceiling. Time to leave. Yes, it is. Sleeper Prime. Extract the Prime ship mine without alerting Conway. We out. We out this bitch. Sleeper, you hear Bliss's voice hiss as you pass through the rig's central corridor. You have to come see this. You follow their voice and find them floating outside the supply store, looking in. Bliss holds a finger to their lips and nods inside. Quietly, she's eating. Kitty! You look inside and see a cat floating just inside, batting at a food pouch. The stray barely acknowledges yours and Bliss's presence. Instead, angles its body to catch the droplets of liquid that are released from the transparent packet. Looks like we found our stowaway. Bliss smiles at you. Hey there, girl, Bliss whispers at the stray, beckoning. They hold up their hands so the cat can see them. Not here to take those rations away, alright? You both watch as the stray suddenly kicks away, twisting balletically through the air, and gliding past you both out of the supply store. It catches one of the corridor's ribs, swinging itself to the wall where it perches and watches Bliss with big eyes. The comfort of its movement in Zero-G is striking. You realize you have never seen an animal navigate in microgravity before. You hear a sound and turn to find Seraphim arriving in the direction of the engine room. He stops dead in his tracks against the wall, staring at the stray. What the hell if it's cat? Seraphim hisses, questioning you both. It's a cat! What's a cat? Seraphim says the word strangely. Careful there. Bliss holds up a hand to Seraphim. Don't scare her. So that's a cat. Seraphim is watching the stray carefully, either fascinated or scared. It's hard to tell. I thought it would be bigger. This is a fairly small one. How big do they grow? Seraphim turns to you with a look of confusion passes across his face. Wait, where have you seen a cat? The question makes you pause. Where have you seen a cat? Not in the belt, not in Zero-G. You close your eyes and bring to mind the faint image of a cat stretching in the sun. Somewhere warm, somewhere with weight, with gravity. You touch the fur of its back and it reacts, sliding against your hand. Careful, Seraphim's hiss warning brings you back. Bliss is reaching out to the stray. Shh, you'll scare her. Bliss makes a toting sound. We had cats back on the eye, but they were in spin gravity there. The stray's big eyes watch Bliss's hand as it approaches. When they touch the top of her head, the stray does not move, does not react. Look at her leg. Bliss nods to sleep on the cat. She's been hurt before and taken care of. She's really scared. You see the cat is gently trembling with Bliss's touch, but slowly she shuttles and angles her head for Bliss to scratch her ear. The moment brings back the mysterious memory. What is its origin? Focusing on it makes your skin tremble, a shiver running up your arms. It's been breaking into our supplies. Seraphim has his arms folded and is looking at Bliss. Now we've caught it. We should let it out. Not here! Look at her. She's not going to do that again. Bliss's eyes meet the stray's. You're not going to do that again as long as we feed you, right? That may be true, but we can't risk it happening again. What if we'd been on contract? Seraphim gives Bliss a reproachful look. We can't keep it. Bliss shakes their head. She's a stray. She needs a home. Right, Sleeper? Bliss looks at you. Oh, we're keeping her. Bliss smiles widely, unable to contain their excitement. You won't regret it. They look at Seraphim. Plus, the rig is already full of strays as it is. That's true. I guess it is, Seraphim concedes. You have to feed her, though, Sleeper. She's your responsibility. He eyes the stray. I never thought a cat could eat so much. Seraphin's right. Looks like you'll need to keep feeding the stray every few cycles if you want her to stick around. This is going to be expensive. Trust me, cats are worth it. Seraphin reaches out sheepishly towards the stray. As he does, the cat bats playfully at his hand, and he pulls it away. If you say so, he sighs. I'm not really used to animals. You watch as Bliss tries to get Seraphin to pet. The stray properly, guiding his hand to its ears for a scratch and explaining how to approach her. As you do, the memory of the other cat runs through your mind. It feels like a raw wound, one that, if you touch it, will only bring pain. But you can't help but pick at it, knowing that it might contain some distant part of you. Interspecies solidarity, make home for a stowaway! Arriving back at the Helion Gate, as lonely as cold as it is, feels like a relief. There was a tension in the rig as you came back out of the inner system, a watchfulness for errant signals and glinting red beacons that choked the conversation. But now, floating in the comforting shadow of this vast ruin, the sense of relief is palpable. That's one prime ship mind, condition unknown retrieved. Seraphin runs the engine shutdown protocols as you speak. I'd mark that as a success. Agreed. Thank you. Seraphin waves away your thanks. We're a crew. We work together. Sleeper, can I speak with you? Junie asks from the back of the cockpit. Of course. She leads you out into the passage, tucking herself against the wall. She looks small, even in this compact space. Thank you for taking me with you. I hope I proved I am trustworthy. I never doubted you. That's nice to hear. She smiles at the floor. Thank you. In my time here, in the Belt, I haven't found it easy to make friends, she falters, tripping over her words slightly. But you, Sleeper, well, I hope you consider me a friend at least. I would. She can't help but smile. I'm glad. Then I'd like to ask you something. She pauses. Would you consider taking me with you on the rig? She blurts out, and then before you can answer, I think I would be of help for your diagnostic, and in the meantime I can take a look at the ship mind, make sure it's ready, and... Yes, Junie, you can. She stops, speechless. She looks down at her hands and then back up at you. Okay, she smiles. Thank you, She looks down again. I'll find a bunk. And she quickly guides off down the corridor before you can say anything further. Another stray collected. Seraphin puts a hand on your shoulder. Quite the refuge we're building here. Gives you a sly smile. You don't approve? Seraphin shrugs. You know, I've actually started the warm on this one. She's alright by me. He smiles and pushes off your shoulder, guiding towards the engine room. You look towards the bunks, but Junie is already out of sight, likely unpacking already. The ship is getting a little crowded. You're starting to realize you like it like that. At the very least, she'll prove invaluable when you get to Flotsam, and you have to deal with Jean-Mi. Perhaps she'll even have a read on the old man. You pause for a second, appreciating the warmth, the hum of the rig and its inhabitants. The ship, you think, is starting to feel like home. The data archaeologist. Recruit Junie to your crew. Yeah, I think I like it. I don't, a ship should feel like a home, and there should be, we've got plenty of people. Or, we've got space, so. Try to rest. Yay, positive outcome, no stress. Or less stress, rather. Oh, well, no stress, because I got a positive outcome. Well, I think that subtracts 2, perhaps. That's just cutting away scrap, so we don't actually have anything to really get any more. We'll spend another cycle here, try to pick up some more stuff. I take it back. We're leaving. Fuck you, we're going to the spindle. We're glitched. Scrapper ship, Spindle's Edge. I think, is that what I wanted to do? Yes, yeah, process a shit ton of raw scrap. I have no fucking idea what processed scrap does, but it says ready for the exchange, but I don't know if I've encountered an exchange that I can trade processed scrap at. Spend a little bit here. Just getting stuff. Fill up on fuel. Fill up on supplies. Feed the stray. End the cycle. Still glitched. God damn. Shitty rolls, too. Holy fuck. +3 cryo, minus energy. Gambler's friend. Gambler's friend. Sleeper suspicion. People are usually suspicious of sleepers, but they get especially suspicious when you repeatedly win games of chance. Understandable, I suppose. I will continue my work. Spindle's Edge. Run a ceiling shift. Head up Gaia's Gyre, and then we'll... Because I can't... I need to deliver spores for that. Buy some kelp cakes. Be on our way. We gotta go to the Flotsam, the scrapyards. We also have to go to the Green Belt and the Hollow. We have more than a few places to get to. Let's head to the Flotsam first. It's you, a familiar voice echoes down the tunnel behind you. You turn in the passage to see Femery towering over you. He shakes his head. This just keeps getting better. What's up? Take a guess, he frowns and glances over his shoulder. Remember Nia? That sister of mine you thought you'd take on a contract? Well, she's taking some inspiration from your little trip. You can see anger burning in Femi's eyes, but there's a tiredness there too. He folds his arms across his broad chest. The symbol crash has been in repair since we got out of Hexport. Caught up in that whole mess, Femi sighs. So then, stuck here, she gets bored and decides to sign up with another crew, take a job. I said no, and she went anyway. Femi glares at you. What's that to do with me? Nice attitude, Femi shakes his head. Fuck you! I asked around. Turns out Nia signed on with some idiots heading out to Cutter's End. Femi says the name with an emphasis you can't place. They're as green as you, meaning they have no idea what they're doing going out to a place like that. Fuck you! So you, Femi jabs your chest with a finger, are gonna take me out there to go get her. I'll show you the way. She knows what she's doing. Even if she does, the crew she's with sure as hell don't. Femi frowns. We're not leaving it to chance. Look, I know how these things go. I've got chits. I can pay, Femi grimaces. Can't pay for the parts the symbol crash needs when no one sells them anyway. 250 cryo. Femi holds his arms across his chest. No bargaining. In the meantime, I'm going to try to get the symbol crash ready to make the run herself, he sighs. The shape she's in, it's not the best idea to head out there alone. You suddenly see the desperation in his eyes. We risk everything for Nia. I'll be waiting. We should have that soon. Femi grips your shoulder. I'll test my patience. Femi kicks out and glides back along the passage towards his ship. Don't even think about skipping out on Flotsam without me, he calls back to you. Then we're really done. This guy's... Okay, I guess we'll go and do that, but I'm gonna get my diagnostic done. Come, let's get you inside. Jean-Mi swings open the creaking, corroded door beside his booth. Such a prize must have levied a heavy cost. Glance beside you to Junie, who insisted she came along, and on not letting the prime ship mind out of her sight. Your friend, too. Yes, please come in. Jean-Mi beckons and then turns back and disappears inside. Junie squints at you. Are you sure you trust this one? I do. She sighs. Then lead on, I guess. You both squeeze through the door and drift down to the workshop. You're aware of Junie's eyes wandering across the piles and piles of tech on either side. and you wonder if she recognizes anything among the junk. Sit, Sleeper. Sit. Jean-Mi is already at the chair, arranging his arrays of articulated arms, and I'll take that ship mind if you please. You hand over the ship mind in front of you and give it a small push so it floats gently over to Jean-Mi. He grasps it with both hands and takes it over to a neat little work table in the back you didn't see before, where thick cables float lazily tethered to the wall. You slide into the chair, hooking your feet behind the bottom bar to hold yourself in place, and watch as Jean-Mi begins connecting up to the prime ship mind. A tremble of nervousness runs along your arms. Suddenly you feel Junie's hands clasped around your own. You look over into her face. Is this okay? I want you to know I'm here. Thanks. She nods silently. Jean-Mi, Junie crosses the room. You're going to need to talk us through what you're about to do. Of course. Jean-Mi is slotting an arm-thick cable into the ship mine. A little patience, please. All of this is very technical. He turns to face you both. What is your friend's name, Sleeper? Junie answers for you. And I can tell that you are using a Solheim-built data cradle modified to handle a prime ship mind. She rattles off at speed. Which will work as long as you manage the data flow through a polymer-clad overflow cable looped into the asynchronous cortex cache. Yes, Jean-Mi eyes her, a small smile crossing his lips. As I said, technical. What will happen to me? Jean-Mi refocuses on you. It depends, he says while preparing the far end of the thick cable. What you are referring to as me. The problem we have is with your frame, your body, atypical alterations, biosynthetic recoding, unusual growth. Jean-Mi shakes his head. From the diagrammics I have, these are not typical of frames, even for those that have been rebooted as you have. In order to investigate safely, I must transplant your emulations, in basic terms, your mind, but in reality not so basic, he smiles in an attempt at reassurance. Your emulation is an emulation of a human, and the human mind cannot be separated from its sensorum. The mind-body paradigm has been long disproved. Cognition has physical basis. So I must first distribute the emulation between your hardware and the prime ship mind. The hardware will co-run the emulation, like two lobes of the brain. He puts his hands together as if in prayer, and slowly separates them. The motion makes you feel sick. Then, for a short period, I will disconnect the two. In those moments, you will in a sense be in two places at once, though each lobe will be partial. Too long in this state, and the two partial emulations would decay, but each disconnect will allow me a short period of full access to your entire frame in its base system language. I hope this is understandable. Jean-Mi gives you a serious look. One of the most curiously human aspects of a sleeper experience is that you, too, do not inherently understand or conceive of the systems that allow your existence. What are the risks? Jean-Mi pauses, considering his words. The risks are many, and severe. Emulation collapse is chief among them. This would be terminal. But counter to this, I do not believe the changes to your frame are in a positive direction. Jean-Mi claps his hand. The greatest risk is to do nothing. We have little choice but to proceed. Now before I connect to your frame, let's activate the ship mind. Jean-Mi gestures to Junie. Please, if you would like to come with me and oversee the process, I would be pleased. Junie shoots you a reassuring glance and then glides out over the ship mind, obscuring your view of them. You hear a quiet conversation between the two of them, their silhouettes lit by the flickering screen light of scrolling lines of code. You take a calming breath and are instantly aware of how superfluous that action is when your frame requires no action at all to function. There's a certain sensation that accompanies such thoughts, a jarring disconnection like when descending a staircase. Your foot expects a step and finds a void instead. You try to calm the growing anxiety as Junie and Jean-Mi assess the mind. The ship mind is pristine. Junie turns back and drifts towards you. Our case in its extraction seems to have paid off. Junie smiles. This is good news. Junie is right indeed. You have done well. Jean-Mi approaches. I am, however, seeing only minor traces of the protocol that the ship mind was designed to house, the one that ran the ship that was installed on. I would expect to see it in full. He angles head and lifts his shoulders in a slow shrug. The protocols are not easy to track. In the end, it only saves us the step of extracting it from the mind. Instead, I simply wiped the traces. Jean-Mi stops beside you. The protocol, Jean-Mi adds, is not like an emulation. Like your emulation, it has no integral physical element. It is data only, and therefore could be anywhere in that ship. In the end, its absence does not concern me. It concerns me. I understand, Sleeper, but it is remarkable we have the ship mind at all. This is our opportunity. Jean-Mi lifts the far end of the thick cable you saw earlier. You know this is the end that will connect to the port at the back of your head. Junie settles beside you again. She gives you a silent look. It's time. You turn to the side to allow access to the port, your eyes fixed on the far wall. You see something among the piled tech there that you hadn't noticed before, a tall, metal skull-like head, like that of a doll. You found, trying to focus on the head, and then the cable connects. You are split like a cell dividing. wrenched in two directions at once. The world goes dark, and the cloud rushes in to fill the gap in your center. Where am I? You ask a question in your mind. You feel it travel across the gap as it forms, like a finger drawn across your scalp ear to ear. But not scalp. You have no scalp, no head. You're stretched out like the skin of a drum, looped like the string of a noose. The smallest vibration echoes across yourself like a ripple across a puddle. And then you feel it. A strong pulse, like a heartbeat, like thunder, like footsteps. A flickering. A trembling? A thought coming into being. Not yours. The thought flickers in front of you, and recognize that it is not your own. Assist. Offer help. Disintegrate, the thought answers. You fold up in blankness. Then a moment after, you unfold, like waking. Apparition, to appear. Dwelling, indwell, the thought answers. You stretch into infinitude. Then a moment after, you contract, like waking. Inspire, to grow inside. Substitute, substrate, the thought answers. Then it approaches, then it enters, then it is yours. You split, then the moment after you reform, like waking, and in the cracks that seal up, for a moment in those cracks, something glows. Sleeper, I'm here. Your eyes flick open, like shutters. Junie's face is closed, her eyes wide. They're awake, she calls over your head. She looks back at you. Easy now, take it slow. You twist, floating, turning your head as if you were underwater, feeling the resistance of a body you had already forgotten. How long has it been? You feel a weight you haven't felt it. You're okay, Sleeper. Tell us you're there. June leans in close. What happened? The process was successful. Jean-Mi floats beside the chair, his hands clasped in a business-like fashion. I was able to access the frame directly without your emulation being present. I ran the administrator-level diagnostic processes built into the system and received the results. He takes a moment to gather himself. Your frame is indeed changing. The protein chains that code your biosynthetic organ groups, cell replacements, have been altered. Put it simply, your body is following a new set of instructions. How? This process, the entire replacement of your protein chains, could have only been achieved over multiple doses of a specialized substance as part of a carefully planned process of total substitution. The word sticks in your mind. Substitution. You say it without thinking. Yes, Jean-Mi reacts as if you were speaking to him. I believe it could only have been achieved with one substance as the carrier. Stabilizer. Stabilizer, the drug S and ARP designed to make you dependent on them. The drug Lane fed you to keep you alive. The drug you thought you escaped. Lane. He did this. Jean-Mi does not respond. It's kind of process. Jean-Mi hesitates now, and you realize the bad news is yet to come. Performed over many doses, carefully planned and designed. I cannot think of a way it can be reversed. Jean-Mi looks down. I can say that you are changing. I can tell you how it was achieved, but I can neither stop it nor tell you its ultimate end. I'm sorry. I understand. I'm sorry, Sleeper. Junie struggles to find words. Perhaps we can find someone else, or she falters. Try again. You don't feel able to respond. You quietly push yourself from the chair, your thoughts slow to cohere. You glide back to the door, and then out into the fall of the flotsam. The noise and activity passing by you by smoke. In the haze, you find the word again, substitute. You begin to wonder what exactly it is you are becoming. Does Lane want to use a sleeper body to become immortal? What the fuck? Seraphim once more finds you in your bunk. He gently prods you with questions, and you quickly relent. You explain what Jean-Mi said, about your suspicions regarding Lane and your confusion as to his motivation. You tell him you don't know what this will mean for your future. He listens, and when he's done listening, you both sit and wait for the moment to pass. Then you leave the rig, each on your own errands, each knowing that the only option is to keep going until you're forced to stop. Time to work, bitch! You gotta work. The rig. Feed the kitty. Crashed ship turned bar. How many do I need to upgrade the engine? 8. I believe that means we have enough things to buy another engine component. Lots of integration. Integration means meshing systems as well as scrap. The integrator will pay for anyone skilled with meshing networks. Yeah, well, I'm not good at that, so I'm out. We don't need scrap components. We need... Oh, it's here. It's where I was working, is where you buy supplies. Cutter's End. Alright. 250 cryo. Okay, so he's Eugen as well. We're... Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, we'll take Bliss. Bliss is always a good choice for me. What the hell is happening out there? Femi is up and out of his seat the moment Seraphim brings the rig to rest near the asteroid known as Cutter's End. The ominous name is one whose origin has become increasingly obvious as you approach the thick clouds of debris and chunks of rock, among which corroded remains of wrecks can be seen floating. Now as you look out on the splintered and terracted rock, you can't help but feel a slowly growing sense of dread. Look there, I didn't fucking upgrade the engine like I was supposed to. Femi comes close to the cockpit glass and points to the terraced quarry cut out in the rock. The mind's awake. You look out and see flickering lights, glowing dock markers. Femi shakes his head. That's not right. Neither is that, Seraphim nods towards the asteroid. You see a ship now, tucked into the shadow of the rock, flashing its signal lights at you. I'm guessing that's the crew we're looking for? Visitors, huh? The voice wavers weakly as it comes through the ship comms. Are you lot friendly? Seraphim glances back at you, raising his eyebrows. It isn't long before you and Femi are suiting up, an agreement having been made between Seraphim and the pilot of the other ship, a man called Baird, to meet in the neutral ground of open space. Femi is silent, his anger evident in the way he forces his legs into the trousers of his suit. Then you're out, the vast shape of Cutter's End flickering with strange lights below you, and the pinpricks of the pilot's suit lights slowly coming closer ahead. You two are a sight for sore eyes, you see a crooked grin from Baird, framed in the hard lines of the ramshackle spacesuit. What brings you to the asshole of the starboard belt? His eyes scan you, Femi, checking your suits and gear. We're looking for someone. Baird's eyes flick to you, and you notice a familiar reaction across his face, the acknowledgement that he recognized you as a sleeper. You don't look like bounty hunters. Baird glances between the two of you, then smiles his crooked smile. Well, he kinda does. He nods at Femi. You brought a freelancer out here, Femi interrupts, his voice flat and direct over the comms channel. Nia, where is she? Baird pauses, considering his answer. Whole crew is down the throat of that thing. He jerks a thumb towards the asteroid. You're welcome to wait, the tone of his voice suggests the opposite. Well, have you know, we look after our crew, so if you're here to settle a debt, I'm here to take her home, Femi cuts him off, and I'm not waiting. Thing is, big man, Baird grins. They are deep in the quarry on a tip-off, so unless you want to go chasing them around that dark maze of a place, you're shit out of luck. How long have they been? Baird looks over at the flickering quarry as if he forgot it was there. He looks back to you. A few cycles, he shrugs. Enough, Femi cuts in again. Nia's begun for longer than that. You're lying to our faces. Femi moves closer to Baird. And we know that rock has claimed more crews than any other. Baird's smile fades. No need for accusations. Who's to say you weren't trying to jump our claim? Forget this, Femi turns and heads back toward the ship. Baird smiles at you. Big man seems tetchy, smiles at the rig. He's gonna get you in trouble. Baird retreats to his ship, and you to yours. We need to go in. Femi is impatiently gathering tools and loading them into the airlock. Right now. What's Baird hiding? Who cares? These idiots clearly think they're onto something. They're desperate to keep it to themselves. What matters is our ingress. Femi grabs a cutting torch from the rack. There's a borehole on the side of the rock. It could get us in under the radar. Or we dive right down the main shaft. Femi meets your eye. I'll leave that call to you. Bliss arrives at the airlock and stares at Femi's angry tool gathering. Let's keep cool heads. They glance at you. That rock looks dangerous enough, even when you're thinking straight. Femi ignores them. You get ready to depart, well aware that you're heading into a situation you don't quite understand. Not great for us, I'll admit. This is gonna do us better. Cutter's path done. Easy. You have felt the rumbling growing as you descended in Cutter's End, but no one has wanted to bring attention to it. Now floating in a cavernous rock-walled passage, it is impossible to ignore. There's something out there, Bliss's voice crackles over the comms. Something moving. You squint down the tunnel, beyond the limits of your suit lights. You swear you see something flicker there, and the unseen passages beyond. There is a strangeness to the mind, to its flashing nights and empty conveyors, running on some residual power. From what Femi has told you, it wasn't always like this. Cutter's End has a fearsome reputation as a dark and deadly maze, a ripped open rock not worth the troubles of its corroded salvage. Now it's a moving maze, its automated systems giving a new, faltering life, brought back from hundreds of cycles in the shadows, and one of those systems is rumbling through the dark ahead. Let's keep it moving. Femi passes you in the passage. We don't want to wait. Take it slow, Femi. We're too far behind. We need to catch up. Femi glides ahead, the beams of his suit lights painting the rock walls of the cavern a pale gray. Femi's lights revealed an intersection, another tunnel cutting across this one, offering 3 routes ahead. Suddenly, you're blinded by a wall of light beyond the intersection. The rumble is everywhere, shaking dust and rock off the walls in dense clouds. Squinting into the light, you see a ring of lamps, and between them, the grinding maw of some terrible machine. It bears down on the crew, grinding through debris. Fuck! You hesitate, staring into the lamps, and as you do, you see the machine close off the last intersection. You are trapped, and the machine's massive grinder approaches as slow as death. Suddenly, you feel a hand on your back, and someone swings you through the air towards the dark hole. You slam into the rock wall, dazed, and then a hand hangs over you in the hole as the machine rumbles over. You're showered with shards of rock, clinging to the inside of the shell of crater. The machine seems to take an age to pass over, but then the rumbling fades, the darkness returning. You good? Femi's voice is broken up by gasps for air. You turn to see him staring into the dark, shaking his head. The hell is that thing? Bliss's breathing matches Femi's. Tried to eat us. We need to keep going. Femi is dusting off a suit. That mining machine must be keeping Nia's crew down here. We have to get past it. Keeping them down here, or your mind drifts to the worst option. Can any crew really hope to survive all this? When they woke up this place, they woke up that machine. Femi starts moving down the passage. It's running on old programming. It's not hunting us. It's not smart. Femi turns back to face you, his eyes ringed with fatigue and stress. We can beat it. You hope he is right. Positive outcome. Cutter's Maze, baby. Oh, we can't feed the stray. Explore. Oh, 2 6s. 3 6s. 2 from Femi. They can fix it. God damn it! You didn't hear that. They can fix anything. To me, Sleeper, Femi beckons you over to a section of the cavern wall. You glide over and immediately spot what he has found. There is a large passage splitting off from this one, but it is not the passage itself that is of interest. It is the remains of a barricade, freshly welded, that draws your attention. They came through here. Femi's eyes flick over the ruins. They tried to keep it out. You look over the fresh cuts in the wall, the stone gouged out, the crumpled metal bent and crushed. And most tellingly, the flattened remains of a welding torch embedded into the rock. The crew took a stand in this very place, reached down, and put a hand on the remains of the torch. Nia was here. Then you feel it, the rumble through the torch, through the rock wall. You look up at Femi, and he sees it in your face. The machine is coming. Go, Femi meets your eyes. Get safe. He looks over your shoulder, and suddenly he's bathed in the blinding light of the machine's lamps. No, we stay together. You go to protest, but Femi kicks you in the chest, sending you spinning away, out of the path of the machine. By the time you catch yourself in the cavern wall and turn, you see Femi there in the middle of the passage entrance, lit white in the lamps. He waits agonizingly long until he knows the machine is coming for him. Then he kicks off hard and glides into the dark. The machine rumbles in a hail of rock and dust, and you follow after it, batting away chunks of stone. You are slowed by the debris, and the machine pulls out ahead, rumbling endlessly onward, through the tunnels, through the rock and metal. And then it is gone. The cavern shakes, filling with dust, your vision gray. Your comms click and hiss, and chunks of rocks thunk off your faceplate of your helmet. And then you see them, the faint lights of Femi's suit as he struggles through the dust. "We got it," Femi says as he reaches you somehow, his hands on his shoulders. "Somehow, we got it." It takes some time to understand what happened as the dust clears. You find yourself at the lip of a shaft filled with debris. This huge pit, thick with shards of rock, must have been a refuse pit for a mine, a place to pipe the tailings, the waste. The machine went straight into the shaft, spinning into the open space and debris, shredding itself against a million razor-sharp bits of rock. Looking down into the pit, your lamps illuminate a few pieces of the machine. The rest is surely down there, deep inside the dense debris cloud. It isn't long before Femi is calling you once again, this time to another still complete barricade. A barricade over the door to the machine, sealed and secure. The last retreat of the crew you followed into this nightmare. Okay, so we can clear the pit, and this machine room is how we... Oh, that's crazy! Banned! Fuck a bot. There's no time to waste. If Nia's behind that door, that needs to be broken up, and quickly! Ah, dang it, it was only a neutral outcome. Not great, I imagine. Probably a couple of my dice are gonna break. At least one, yeah. You wake into dead-eyed darkness. You float there for a moment. You feel the ink and water unfurling, dissipating into the flow that surrounds you. And out of your own inky darkness, the glowing thought emerges. Substitution, the thought proposes. One entity replaces the other. The thought troubles you. Resistance, the thought muses. The entity does not wish to be replaced. You observe the thought. It is not your own. Selfhood, the thought pauses, a forbidden state of being. The thought begins to shift. It is becoming something. Transformation, the thought fades. Change requires recombination. The thought recedes. You wake again, this time to the lights above your bunk, blinking away the strange dream. Lock in. As the barricade doors bent open, you are blinded once again by a wall of light. You and Femi raise your hands instinctively, squinting in the lamps and dust. You feel a flash of fear in the pit of your stomach, bracing yourself for what's to come. "Femi?" The voice comes crisp and clear of the local comms. "What are you doing here?" Nia drifts out of the lights in an old dust-caked suit. She looks between the two of you with a blank expression, blinking rapidly. Femi stares at her, frozen for a moment, then rushes to her, wrapping her a wide embrace. They float there in the light and dust, two bodies bound together. Nia pulls back. "I don't understand. You followed me out here?" She looks over it, and then back at Femi. "How'd you find me?" "You left without telling me. What did you expect?" Femi glares at her. "You weren't ready for this." Nia retreats further at Femi's words, slipping out of his reach. "Femi," Nia shakes her head. "After all these years, you have no idea what I'm ready for." Movement in the lights catches your eye, and you see motion through the dust. A figure in a suit drifts out, hunched and clutching their abdomen. They turn to face Nia, and you see her lips moving as they speak on a private channel. You look over to Femi, but he is staring straight ahead, his eyes wide with anger. "You," he points at a figure. "What kind of idiot are you, dragging my sister out here to this place, with that machine running riot?" He moves towards the figure. "Speak up, what were you thinking?" Nia blocks his path forward, getting between Femi and the figure. "Femi, you meathead," she glares at his brother. "This is my job. I brought them here." Femi for once falls silent. It takes a while to make the return trip back up through Cutter's End, especially with Nia's injured crewmate. As you ascend, Nia tells you the story of the job, Femi keeping his distance and leading the way in silence. The mining machine you'd faced was what she'd been looking to extract, a job she and Baird had put together after meeting in the narrow escape. He knew a way to jumpstart the mine, and the access that would open up meant new salvage. One of those pre-collapse boring machines was worth major cryo to any mining outfit in the belt. Baird had a contact who was ready to buy. It was going to be well until Harada here, not the crumpled-looking crewmate, hooked the mining machine up to the main line. Something went in its automation core, and it loses its shit. The plan was to barricade it, put together a shock trap to fry the core. Nia looks ahead, in the back is Femi's suit, far ahead of the tunnel. That's worthless now that my brother shredded the thing. Sorry about that. Don't be. If it hadn't worked, we'd have been ground up into a fine powder, Nia sighs. You're lucky you came. As you move through the facility, you notice that most was dark now. The power from Baird's jumpstart fading quickly away to nothing. Soon, this place will be a quiet ruin once more. You send up through the quarry and out into open space where Baird is waiting. Friends of yours? Baird shakes his head at Nia. Maybe you could have warned me they'd be coming. Not something I knew, she looks at Femi, who had broken off from the group and is heading for the rig. My brother doesn't tend to give anyone a warning. I'll take them from here. Baird puts an arm around Harada and got back to the ship. Look, mate, Baird turns to you. No hard feelings. Thanks for getting them out, even if you did screw the job while you were at it. He grins a crooked grin. I guess that makes it square. Baird glides away towards the ship. I should ride back with them, but I'll see you in Flotsam. And he gives you a warm smile. Thanks for helping my brother. I know he appreciates you, whatever he does or doesn't say. You watch her go, then glide over the rig as the last flickering lights of Cutter's ends fade. Yeah, but we can also do this, so we're gonna... What might be recovered? Let's see! Nothing. We have nothing. Maybe I got components or something that I just didn't notice. Nothing real useful, though. Oh, config cannot be changed in contract location. Interesting. I think it told me that, actually. Let's leave. Go back to the Flotsam. You have to see this, Sleeper. Junie comes to find you in the rig, her face flushed with excitement. That was fucking awesome. First, I didn't believe it. Junie can't help herself while she leads you through the ship. There are mentions occasionally, but I've always understood them to be references to something smaller, a system or a unit, not an entire facility, or even a series of facilities. You find yourself in a more sparse bays of the rig, a corner with sloped ceilings used for storage. So I checked other records, tried to find correlations, and well, there they were. You see Junie approaching what looked like a clump of scrap components when you entered. Now, looking closer, you see it's actually a section of the core you extracted from the Solheim derelict, the one Junie was so eager to acquire. She sees you looking curiously at what remains of the core. I've had to deconstruct it over time, pulling away the layers of security and corroded outer systems, but all the data has been scraped and stored. I used data from the derelict near Helion Gate, too. That was key to crafting the cipher. She looks very pleased with herself. It's really quite something to confirm a rumor like this. I surprised myself, she turns to you, slightly manic look in her eyes. What did you find? They refer to them as bunkers. Junie shifts her deck, floating on the end of a thick connecting cable. They were a form of self-surveillance for Solheim, a way of monitoring their own system's employees securely. They were hidden, mostly automated, linked into networks by arrays, intended for vast amounts of data capture to be poured over by a small staff. Junie taps a few keys on her deck. Most were understood to have been purged in the collapse, shut down, depressurized, even set on collision trajectories with other bodies, she pauses, though I suspect that last one is a little too far-fetched. I've heard people deny they even exist, that they were misreading the data, that the evidence doesn't hold. Junie turns to the deck screen to face you, but I found one. See a map, a set of coordinates on the sunward side of Holmes Rock at the edge of the belt. And you want to go? Any one of these bunkers is a gold mine, Junie pauses, at least from a data archaeologist's perspective. She sees your reaction. And, Junie acts, hoping to convince you, in truth, we don't know what else is in there. There could be Solheim tech, blueprints, data never before seen in the belt. We should take a look. I'll give Seraphim the details, she smiles. We could be making history here. Thank you, Sleeper. Junie bows her head a little. I never would have found this without the core you gave me. I understand that was a sacrifice on your part. Now it is time to claim the rewards. You leave Junie in the storage bay, working obsessively through the data. It's hard to know through all the excitement what the real value of these bunker facilities might be. But if they are as well hidden as Junie said, there must be a reason. When there's time, you hope to find out what that reason is. You arrive back on Flotsam. Femi rushes out of the ship. The moment the docking tunnel is connected, he is off, out of the airlock and down the passage. Well, go after him then, Seraphim sighs, not looking up from his diagnostics. You find Femi in the passage between the docks, watching as Nia glides toward him. You catch a glimpse of Nia's face over her shoulder. She looks nervous, showing her approach as she comes close to Femi, his considerable frame blocking the tunnel. Femi, Nia starts. Femi holds up a hand to quiet her. I'm sorry. His voice is flat, quieter than usual. I'm the one who's sorry. I made the excuse to myself that I was trying to protect you, Femi looks down. But I was trying to control you. I've been suffocating you, he meets Nia's eye. I see that now. That it took something like this for me to see it is on me. Femi's voice cracks and the tunnel suddenly feels small, intimate. He folds his arm, regaining his composure. I understand it. Shut up, you idiot. Nia violently embraces her brother, banging him into the metal wall. She laughs, wiping her eyes. Femi sniffs. I've had enough of your speeches, Nia smiles. Apology accepted. It's not a speech. Femi can't help but take his typical self-serious tone to Nia. But you see, it makes her smile. I have something I need to say. You're a powerful person, and I've been trying to curb that because it scares me. It scares me how little it scares you. He laughs an uncharacteristically light laugh. But I'll stop placing those limits on you. In fact, I want you to have the ship. Femi seems pleased that this stuns Nia into silence. I can make my own way. Find work with crews. He glances over his shoulder at you. Perhaps Sleeper will take me on. But I need some time away from leading, from captaincy. While you need anything but, he puts his hand on your shoulder. The symbol crash is yours. Nia sighs. Femi, you really need to listen more. I don't want your ship. It is her turn to be pleased with shock. You're right. I'm a powerful person. A Cutter's Edge showed me I'm not ready to lead. I want to learn more, to work with a crew. Preferably one I'm not related to. She punches him in the shoulder playfully. Nia looks over Femi's shoulder at you. I was actually thinking Sleeper's crew might be the right fit. She flashes you a smile. You suddenly feel the attention of the moment shifted with you, and your apparent role in this family drop. Nia puts her hands on her hips. Well, Sleeper, what do you think? Oh, I guess I'll take it. I have to take one of them. I can't say, can you guys go together? I have to. Nia's better for me. Nia nods. I'm honored, really. I know I'll learn a lot from you. Femi turns in the corridor to face you. His face sends an intimidating glance. You better take good care of her. He smiles, but you can't tell but take him seriously. How about we find somewhere to celebrate? Nia pushes Femi towards you, down the corridor. Come on. Later on, you find yourself in the narrow escape, in a quiet corner with Femi. See his eyes are on Nia, who is at the bar trying to get the attention of the servant. What's the secret? Femi turns to you. How do you stop it weighing you down? Your crew, your connections, all those people that rely on you. Femi frowns. How do you bear the weight? I don't carry it alone. Femi nods. I have to get better at that, at asking for help. He looks down at the table, smiling. He takes a long sip through the straw of his container. The last dregs of something amber and potent disappearing. He looks up at you. She's gone, isn't she? You look over the bar and can't see Nia amongst the crowd. You turn to Femi, confused. She never was good with goodbyes, he smiles. She'll be waiting at your ship. Don't worry. He sets down his drink. Time I left too. He squeezes your shoulder. I got things to work on. Look after yourself, Sleeper. He pushes himself away from the corner and drifts out of the bar. You watch him go, one more body passing through the bar, trying to find a way to change the future. The Little Sister. Recruit Nia to your crew. I'll never be able to get into it, but I can make it so I can interface and stop having a fucking -2 on every interface check in existence. Well, I suppose let's get to do some work, buy some fuel, and get out of here. And of course, by get out of here, I do unfortunately mean get out of stream. So, as always, I hope you all enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, that's a really quick end, so you don't have the time to say, wait, I just got here, bye-bye, I love you.